Hello friends and welcome back for episode 6 of Terraria 1.3. Let us return to our exploration. So yesterday we went ahead and discovered all of the left part of the map for the most part. We did a little run across the landscape. Now we're going to repeat that symmetry to the right and hopefully discover some caves along the way. I won't belabor... Oh, there's a golden bunny. Hold on. Hold right on. Yes, we've got a golden bunny. I don't know what that means, but it is ours now. It is a consumable material? Am I gonna eat the golden bunny? What's the worst a bunny could do? Be eaten, apparently. Do I have a thing for animals yet? I don't think I've made one. So you know what? Let's toss him in the nature one, and maybe we'll put him in his own little bunny apartment later. We'll see about that. But that's a nice little discovery to have made completely out of nowhere. I was not expecting that at all. So hopefully you guys have all been good. It seems like everybody's still enjoying the series. I'm still enjoying making it. I'm still obsessively playing Terraria, which is probably the way to be when you love a game. I'm kind of alternating in my life lately between non-stop Terraria and Rocket League, which is this, like, basically car soccer. Just drive a car around, smack a ball around, try and get it in the net. And I've just been playing that non-stop. There's going to be videos of that and everything on the channel, too, so if you're into me playing... crazy, wacky sports game with Northern Lion and Bear Taffy and Mathis Games and Alpaca Patrol. We'll check those out. Bear Taffy's not in all of them, he's in some of them. But yeah, anyway, that's been my day. I've been ODing on these two games, and I did not expect to ever be playing that much of a soccer game. No less a racing soccer game, if that's the way you want to define it. It's funny how things work out like that. Occasionally a game will just show up out of nowhere, and it will take all of my attention. It's a nice thing sometimes. I mean, same thing happened with Enter the Gungeon, another game that I'm very much looking forward to playing a lot more of, but had to give it a bit of a rest, because, well, the developer and publisher wanted it to be rather fresh when it comes out to the general public, and I respect their opinion on that. I may respectfully disagree a little bit because I want to play it pretty badly, but, you know, I can play it off camera, I guess. I just want to play it with you guys watching and talking about it because it's exciting. But it'll all happen in due time. So... let's look at the map real quick before we get too much further. It looks like we've got a bit of a lake to cross here. I've only got 7 platforms, but I have plenty of wood in my inventory. So let's craft up a few more platforms so we can cross this gap. And then we don't have to do this slowly every single time. So I'm sure we'll spend lots of time crossing this gap more in the future. So I was thinking of games that are coming out and, you know, big future things, future... you know, elements of gaming and things that are going to change in the future. And one of the things I was thinking about is how we're on the precipice of this new dawn of technology in that, you know, the Oculus is going to come out eventually. There's going to be virtual reality is going to enter the mainstream. And I think it's going to have enough of a push that it would be almost unfeasible for it to completely tank to the extent that it just kind of goes out of fashion, disappears like the Kinect. I think it's going to make a bit of a jump in, and people are going to get behind it. Whether or not it lasts indefinitely... I guess is yet to be seen, but it's definitely going to have a presence for a while. So, if you follow that conclusion, it means a lot of people are going to get really into virtual reality games. They're going to be spending a lot of time with headsets on, and I was starting to wonder, like, so, is there going to be a whole class of people, and this might affect me as well, that just get obsessed with it to the degree... Oh, I need my glow sticks back. To the degree that we just kind of, like, hang out in virtual reality world forever, and then, like, how far away are we, actually, from entering the Matrix? I mean, I'm saying it jokingly, but also, like, do we really want to sit for, like, 28 hours in a row with a thing over our eyes? Because I could see that being really easy to do, especially if we get things that are as immersive and addictive as, you know, most MMOs. I mean, I've played Cookie Clicker for way more hours than I'm proud to admit. So, you know, when we get something that actually kind of encompasses your whole world, kind of ensconces you and brings you into that element, it seems really possible that people are going to be so addicted, it's going to become, like, a thing that we need to classify and then fight against as, like, a counter-movement. So, I don't know, am I calling that? Maybe? I don't really want to call that, but maybe that's a thing that is going to really happen, and maybe it's a thing we need to be cognizant of as we head into this realm. I mean, just thinking about No Man's Sky, a game that's, like, it's made up of a procedural universe of millions of planets that you can explore over any amount of time that you wish, and apparently since the way they've configured the game is it'll be, like, a procedural system procedurally generating other things, so it's, like, 2 steps deep, like, everything is gonna really, really be random, and I know we've talked that stuff up before, and I don't know if it's really gonna turn out the way that I'm hoping, I mean, thinking of Spore especially had kind of similar promises. But if it is what I'm thinking it's supposed to be, well, geez, that kind of gives us infinite content that is infinitely interesting, provided you like the source material, right? Oh, this is a bad place I just fell into. Okay, thankfully that actually doesn't go that far down. So the... Oh, I hate that a lot, too. The deal with this ice stuff here is if you fall too hard on it, it breaks as far as you're allowed to go. And eventually it'll break all the way down, and you'll still retain fall damage all the way down, too. So, yeah, I've died a couple of times to that stuff. So there's some iron ore. I don't know if I'm really in the way of needing iron ore anymore, but I guess we'll go for it anyway. There's a little bit more over there. I didn't really want to get too mired up in this area, but I kind of want to just do a quick glance down the way, just in case there was, like, a heart piece, because I do want that HP. And I'm not saying this is going to be the game, by the way, that does it for what I'm talking about, but I could easily see some sort of Minecraft variant, kind of similar-minded experience being another one of the things that really sucks people in for this virtual reality movement that I'm proposing will come to be. I don't even know right now, like, how to differentiate between the variety of different headsets that are going to come out. Like, which one is going to be the hot one? Which one is going to flounder? Like, two of them have support with Microsoft, right? It's Oculus and what's the other one? Morpheus? I can't even necessarily remember. I think there's 3 that are available for discussion right now. Maybe more than that. 3 or 4. And they're all going to hit probably around the same time, give or take a few months. Or maybe around the same year, I should say, not necessarily the same few months. But they're probably all going to be, you know, fighting for the same space in market. And that means it's going to be really volatile. There's going to be a lot of, you know, trying to sell over the other one. So these features are going to become more important the closer we get, which is obviously why having third-party support and, you know, having a bunch of publishers behind you, that's all going to be quite a thing. Is there any reason to dive into this water? But yeah, as of right now, the only one I know is, like, I do want an Oculus. I don't know if it has a leg up over its competition any particular way. Oh, there's a granite biome right there. I would love to give you a tour of a granite biome, but the thing is, there's these dudes in there that will wreck me very quickly, and I don't know if we really want to expose you to that. I'm worried about you guys. I don't want you to get too scared for my well-being. I don't want you to have to keep that in the forefront of your mind. You should worry about your day and how you're getting on, not so much about my Terraria character and his well-being. Is there anything else down here, though? It looks like it's just the granite biome around, so why don't we keep this in our back pocket, in our back burner, in our front pocket, any kind of pocket or burner that you might have access to. Your burner phone, your burner pocket, and we'll come back, and maybe we'll give that a little bit of a look-see-do once we have more stuff going on in the general enemy presence category, because right now, well, we could get in trouble just with this ice biome, to be honest, so I don't know how viable it is to even be here right now. Jeez, I can't even freaking grapple. I should just go after some rope, maybe? Oh my god. This is a nightmare. Get me out of here! Okay. We made it off of that spot. Now, we just want to put down one of... Oh. No, one of these. Okay. Is this also a pressure plate? Yes, it is. And it's to you. Really glad I didn't get shot more times there. Up we go. Keeping in mind also that this is here. We'll need that later. Especially when we want to craft some things. And we'll just make our way out. Let's just keep going. It's probably going to be like nearly dark or dark by now. But we'll embrace the darkness. We'll pretend we're Batman. We'll adopt a cloak. And we will take things down, whatever those things may be. I've talked with Rob about this at length, Rob being Alpaca Patrol, if you're not familiar. We play Magic a couple of times a week on the channel, and we've talked about Batman in a variety of ways, but one of the things that really sticks out for me lately is I can't get it out of my head that most of what Batman does in the Arkham games is beat up people who are just standing around. Now, I'm totally just stealing his shtick right now, because this is prime material, this is prime Rob material. He's gone through this several times, but I just can't get over it. They're literally standing around. These criminals don't really do much, most of them anyway, and I can't, granted, comment very much on the new game, because I haven't really seen much of it, but in the ones that I've seen, the majority of criminals are just kind of like standing in a circle, talking to each other or just kind of being like, what's going on? I hear the bat. And then all of a sudden the heat's on, and then they go nuts, and then, you know, everybody's got to fight. You know what? I don't want to go back down here yet. I just want to map this. I want to see that it's here. And unless there's like a heart piece right here, we're going to come back. That is my decree for this moment. So, like, I know a big thing about Batman is questionable morality. You know, is having a vigilante justice system viable for a city? You know, is that what we need? Is that the hero we need for Gotham City? Someone who's, you know, an agent of vigilante justice. What do the police officers think when he cleans up all the streets? And then it's like, so who do we report to now? Like, are you our police commissioner? Well, that's Commissioner Gordon. How do we navigate these murky waters? What if Batman decides, hey, I'm going to submit to the city that now my rule will be decreed through the act of some kind of drones, maybe. Maybe we're going to be attacked by robots, agency through Batman. Right? Like, he's setting up all of the robots' AI. Maybe Alfred's in charge of that. I don't know. Nightwing, Robin, somebody on his team, the Batman team, is in charge of the death-killing robots. Well, they don't probably kill, but they probably tase a lot, right? That's Batman's thing lately. He's big into tasing. I don't know. It seems really murky to me. It seems like a thing you wouldn't necessarily want, and it seems like the police, I know they're trying to, like, he's trying to help the police, but I feel like the police, it's in their best interest to arrest Batman, like, right off the bat. Just, see what I did there? I didn't even know I did that. Man, I'm clever. Anyway, I don't know why they choose to go down this road. I guess it's just because, like, the ends justify the means for them, but they're not thinking long-term, right? You got streets full of anarchists, and they don't care who lives or dies. The police need to start caring a little bit more. Now, I know for a fact, if Batman started shooting people with a gun, this would all be different, right? It's only because he beats them up for a while, then he, like, gets them to submit, and then he arrests them, brings them into the jail cell. Like, that, I guess, makes them cool, and I know that sometimes they get off on these tangents that they're not cool. Police and Batman, that is. But I can't get around beating up dudes that are, I mean, they're tough dudes. They're not, you know, just standing there and also weak, but they're just standing there mostly. Is the discussion that, like, they shouldn't be where they are, so they're already suspect just by being there? Because I guess you could kind of have that apply in Arkham Asylum, right? Because they're all just sort of agents of the Jokers. They're all out of their cells. They need to be subdued, is the word that I'm looking for. And the fact that Batman's there, he's only there because he's on the mission after them. So then we get Arkham City, where I guess Arkham Asylum lets out, and all of the dudes in the cells, they're running wild, and I guess they all need to be captured and brought back and all of that. Oh, this is probably a problem for me. So then we get to Arkham Origins, which, as far as I know, and I have played this, but it's kind of fuzzy in my head, we're just in Arkham City then, right? Like, we're in Gotham City. So, like, the dudes that we see there, like, couldn't they just be normal civilians? Why are they necessarily all criminals? They're all standing around. What's the big deal? Oh, come on, man. Hurry up. Oh, well, you've made my decision for me, apparently. I wasn't going to jump down quite yet, but there we go. And how about we get a little bit more light on the situation? This is going to be a bit of an odd angle for me to get through. I need to get rid of this guy, and then we can kind of hop back up. Or maybe I want to do a bounce off this wall and then kind of triangle jump. Oh, come on. Now we got two. And I have to keep them at bay long enough that I can hit my healing. I don't want to mess this up. But I really need to kill the lip on the top of that so I can get around. Oh, come on. Hit the wall. Hit the wall. I can't jump off the wall for some reason. Well, at least we got the area with the sweet music, so there's that. Oh, we're collecting vertebrae as well. I believe that spider will just climb the wall. No, actually it can't here. This is an awful spot. Okay, push it real good. Yes, victory is mine. Now what I'd love to do is build another bridge here. You must build a bridge. That is my mission right now. Oh, it's gonna take a minute though, because these guys gotta keep showing up. I should probably just use my hotkeys, or maybe the control. The smart builder might help us, I don't know. Does it help us here? Yeah, no, it doesn't know I want bridges here. Oh, okay, that was very lucky. No. Now off. Okay, whatever. I guess there'll be stairs here for the moment. Yeah, control. So it does work. Just didn't work exactly how I wanted it to for the moment because I wasn't prepared. I did use a little bit of the smart tool when I was putting backgrounds in on my house earlier. So, you know, be aware I know about it. I know that question gets asked, you know, probably once every 10 minutes or so. I do know most of the controls at this point. I just often choose not to use them because of personal preference and obstinance and ignorance occasionally. Well, intentional ignorance. Is that a thing that can happen? I don't know, maybe. Right, so anyway, continuing on that Batman train of thought, how do we then reconcile the next process, which is the Arkham Knight? How does he then go back into that process of capturing, like, criminals that are just wandering about on the street? Does he have, like, a log in his computer somewhere that's like, no, this guy jaywalked 6 years ago, so he's got to get brought in for questioning? Like, and then Batman's like, I'm on it. And then he goes running down whatever that criminal's name is. I don't care what his name is. Mr. Mistopheson. I just decided that's what his name is right now. Alright, let's dig this ore up. Apparently we're gonna get a sunflower as well. I'd love to take a look in the map, but I feel like that would be ill-advised, considering. You know what? We're good. That's just fine. Okay, let's see where we're going. I need my torch in my hand. Keep a little bit going on the ground, too, in case I need to come back this way later. Maybe just hop over this. Oh, well. Poor timing on the jump, then. Fair enough. I've also been planting a few acorns near my house, so that way we don't run into a scarcity situation when it comes to trees. It's really awful to run out of lumber. I hate it. Because it's, you know, the resource I use the most. But I am going to be redoing the house in some other material, I have a feeling. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but it just seems like the right thing to do. Hey, a treasure chest! Even though it's a regular one, I could still actually use the chests themselves to store things in, so I'm happy I found that. We're just going to heal. No reason to be coy with the healing potions. I just want to stay alive. Staying alive. There we go. I can see what we're doing for a sec. So we've got more climbing claws, recall potions, builder oh my god, these potions lately. And these accessories have just been absolutely silly. What is this? Oh, that's like the remains of an eyeball, isn't it? Sometimes I think just using the pickaxe is almost the way to go, isn't it? Oh, that's probably bad. Yep, tap, tap, tap. I do like the ticks of damage. They're very satisfying when that happens. And we'll grab this lens, too. Most likely I won't need to actually craft too many of the summoning thing for the eye, but just in case I need to. Okay. And it looks like we've got more stars down there, but I don't think I need any more. I think we're actually fine on stars now. Oh, I hate that spider so much. And the constant damage from the thorns is not my favorite either. Alright, well, if I needed more, I've got more. There's a lot here. Stars are just dropping out of the sky. I don't know what kind of cataclysmic event has taken place that made the stars need to do this, but might as well embrace it. I can turn them into magic. So many powers that you'd never even think. Like, if you were just a normal human being, and you witnessed a star fall out of the literal sky in front of you on the ground, like, you would then rationalize that event by saying, I'm gonna take this with me, and I'm gonna actually look for a few more of these, and if they all gather together, who knows what kind of powers I could get. I actually really like thinking about inane superpowers in general. Things that just, they serve so little purpose outside of your own personal life, like, at a whim. Like, imagine your superpower was, when I'm in my car driving, I can instantly find the music that I'm looking for in my iPod, right? Like, or iPhone playlist. I don't know, whatever you want to say it. Your Zune. How about your Zune HD? Josh really likes the Zune, so apparently it was in my mind. And granted, I know that this is a magic power we've already been granted in terms of, like, Siri. I'm just saying, until we get personal digital assistants that can always operate exactly the way you want, maybe that's a magic power that might be worthy of having. Because it's amazing, actually, sometimes to me that it's 2015, we've got incredible amounts of technology. Like, you can buy a 256 gig, that might be overdoing it, maybe 128 gig memory stick that is absolutely, like, edible. Like, you could eat that sucker and you wouldn't even probably be too bothered by the whole thing. So you can fit that much data in that small a space, and yet the dictation, or the personal digital assistants don't have the ability to understand your voice well enough to make out pretty common words in English. Now, granted, I don't know how complicated that technology is. I'm sure it's very complicated, but we've been at it for a while. That's the kind of technology that is very useful in a lot of different ways, and is only going to continue to be more and more useful and functional. So we'd want to get that stuff, like, in the bag a long time ago, especially even just for the sake of dictation. But think about all the things that could streamline over time. You know, being able to have it understand and dictate, like, an email if you want to, like, if you're driving in your car and you want to listen to something read to you and then maybe you want to, like, correct it. You need to be able to identify which words you want to correct. Like, the ability to actually talk to a computer like a human without pausing, without doing weird speech inflections and all that stuff, that's going to be a real revolution. And it seems like, as much as we want to believe we've done it already, we're still super far away. What we're doing right now is we're, like, triggering metadata through commonly used words. And it's... now we're actually, like, authenticating it. That's almost more impressive to me than the actual technology. That for something like Siri, we're sending our words away to a farm, a data farm, a server farm somewhere, and people are going, hey, this dude in this iPhone said this thing. Here's the response that we'll send back to that phone, and then they send that bit of data back to that phone. Like, what kind of scarcity situation do we have going on in the world, or the opposite of that, actually? What kind of anti-scarcity situation do we have that we can afford to have individuals catered to with digital information, like, a la carte, every time we want it, anywhere in the world? Well, with exceptions, obviously. Sometimes on the go, sometimes at home. It's really wild that we're in that level of technology, but things are just going to keep spiraling and getting more and more prodigious in ways that we won't even be able to predict, and things will have ripple effects that we won't even be able to predict. And that's what I was on about when I was talking about the whole virtual reality thing. I was so amazed that, like, that's probably going to be a real thing. We're going to have addicts that get lost in virtual reality world and don't want to come back to the reality that they face on a day-to-day basis. And again, I can totally see myself being in that camp sometimes, and that scares me a bit. It's tough enough sometimes just not going with too much human contact for days on end because I'm just in the world of recording videos and Twitch streaming. I mean, yes, I'm getting human contact, I'm talking to people, but it's not exactly the same. They're not personally talking to me. Also, what is this? Enchanted sword. Alright, I don't know what this is, but I have it. It's an enchanted sword. Oh, I just found a pretty sweet sword. Okay, that's cool. Oh, it shoots missiles. It's like I have full HP in Zelda. Well, not so much missiles as enchanted swords. Well, you get it. Alright, that's a happy accident. I wasn't even gonna come down here, but I just saw that there was like a little bit of green, and I was like, hey, what's going on? I poked my head in a little bit, take a look around. So I think I might have seen a mushroom biome below, and I also see some tungsten up above. Is that a mushroom biome, or is that just some glowy stuff? Could just be like a jellyfish glowing in the dark, perhaps. Yeah, this sword is actually not that bad. Can we get to this tungsten, though? That's what I'm all hot and bothered on right now. It might not even be much, but I see an opportunity. I gotta strike. Let's get in there. There's so many applications, though, for virtual reality that just make, like, no sense to me. I mean, there's a lot of situations where people are going to want to shoehorn stuff in, and when we were watching the whole, and I don't know if everybody saw this, but the VR presentation about, like, the future of Oculus, and then they announced that there's going to be these two little finger triggers. I was like, alright, I get your point. Yeah, we want to have something more intuitive to grab onto objects with in this space. And then they showed all the people flailing about, and they're like, oh, they think they're in the virtual reality space, but they're still real people in real reality, so they're touching things, but they're not actually there. So we gave them finger glove things that grab. Why not just give them actual gloves, right? Are we that far away from just the ability to grab things with actual hands, like, in a space, or is that too disorienting? I mean, they must have considered that. They've got a lot of funding, they've got plenty of R&D behind them, I'm sure they considered gloves, but I want to know why we didn't just do the gloves. Because that's what I wanted since day one, is that just see your hands in the space. I don't know that I always need tactile response. Maybe that was the problem. People just needed something to physically hold on to, and the gloves were too nebulous, so you lose perspective. But you have to be able to look down and see your hands, and then your eyes start to form that perspective and the correlation between where your vision is and where your hands go. And I would think if those things are all working in tandem, that the player or the experiencer of this experience would be able to put it back together again, because it's sort of like we've resimulated the structure, just minus the pain receptors and the nerve endings and all of that. And maybe that'll come in time too. I certainly hope not, because it's horrifying. I don't want to take damage by getting shot with a rocket in a video game and feel like my chest is collapsing. That is a thing that I never want. And then, of course, there will be the virus that causes you to feel that all the time while you're looking at porn sites or something. You're just going to feel like a rocket hit you in the chest and your legs got blown off. Nobody wants that. Don't do that. Somebody's going to experiment with it, though, and we're going to start linking stuff up to our nervous systems. It's going to be anarchy, I think. I think there's a lot of potential for real big disaster and all of that. But there's so much cool that it's like you can't turn away, right? There's so many good things that, despite the incredible potential for abuses, you kind of have to just rush headlong into it and hope for the best. I guess that's kind of humanity in a nutshell, isn't it? We just kind of rush headlong into things and hope for the best, and most of the time they don't work out. A lot of the time we exacerbate problems with greed and a, unending list of other issues that we have as a species. But, like, come on, virtual reality is such a cool idea. I just want this to work out properly. And I know people have mentioned there's, like, not a lot of really cool-looking software for it, and, like, they're not going to get hyped for virtual reality until that's in place. The concept for me alone, and the potential, because I know this stuff will come in time. People absolutely want to make all of these things that I've had in my mind for most of my life. Those will all happen. It's just about fostering the right community and the right opportunity, I guess, for it to exist. And having the infrastructure is obviously, like, most of it. Beyond that, you just need other people that have the same dreams, and I guess that's where that future gets cultivated, and we all start hoping for the best at that point. And then that's when we start turning on our blinders to the potential abuses that there could be. And like I said, the rushing headlong thing. But I think you get the idea. Man, I had this idea when I was playing this game Dream, and I was streaming. And I was like, it would be so cool to make a first-person game like The Sims, where you just, like, live a normal life in a house. You can, like, customize the house a lot. Like, you can set up all the rooms just the way you want, and you can keep any items you want to buy. You have, like, a job, and it would just be sort of this quick little mini-game that, for the most part, you don't spend a lot of time with. It just sort of pops up, and then if you do well at it based on some kind of arbitrary constraint, then you get more money, and you can choose to reinvest that in your house or keep savings or whatnot. But the story would not be about the usual stuff that we are so accustomed to seeing in video games. It would not be about the violent murder that breaks in and that you have to defeat, or the ghost that wants to kill you in the night. Nothing like that needs to happen in the whole game. It could just be about the story of a family or the story of a community and how things change over time. And every day you come back, you see what's going on, you visit your neighbors, you see how things are going. I'm imagining something like Heavy Rain, only without all the drama. Right? Like, you had those few moments in Heavy Rain where it's actually like you're just in a house and you're kind of walking around, and you could, maybe you have a son or daughter and a spouse of any kind you choose, and you have a fantastic life, or you don't, depending on the decisions you make. And throughout it all, you'll get to experience the stuff we experience every day in just a different context, and you'll have a little bit more control. I don't know why that seems like a thing we've never done before. It seems so obvious that, like, the whole point of video games is escapism in a variety of ways. Well, there's also other points, too. But one of those points is, that kind of immersive escapism. And if you've got all of these ideas floating around in the air, why not just grab out the easy one, which is replicate the reality we have and augment it a little bit? Make it interesting. I mean, it doesn't even have to be that interesting, honestly. Even if it was quite boring, I would still just be in it to just have the, like, the house you can customize and just see how the story turns out. You can make fantastic stories out of just everyday life. People do it every day. I think we just we take for granted how simple it can be to tell a good story if you just have the right characters involved. And people are characters everywhere you go. I mean, I never would have thought watching Orange is the New Black that, you know, like, there could be fantastic characters in a bunch of people in women's prison. Like, I don't know why I never thought that. It's just never occurred to me. And now that I've watched that show, hey, good writing equals good characters. And it doesn't matter the context, whether they're normal people with normal wants and desires. That's all it takes. They don't have to be arch-villains, they don't have to be superheroes, they don't have to have special powers. They just live out lives, and we relate to them in a lot of ways, and we don't relate to some other ones in different ways. And we're drawn to some things, we want to see things happen, we want other things not to happen. It's easy enough. So give us that immersion and tell us a story about a family in a house from the first-person view. Why not? Right? It's gonna happen someday. I hope it does. And, yeah, I called it. Gotcha. Anyway, we've wandered about a little bit. We've mapped out the right section of Terraria's world here, and we've found some great caves that we can come back to and explore for next time. And we've also found our dungeon, which is a good thing to know about. So, at this point, I'm going to look at my inventory real quick, and we're going to wrap up here. I think what we're going to do is see if we've got enough tungsten to move us forward in any meaningful way, and even if we don't, yeah, okay. I walked somehow very far away from my house to the left. I was not paying attention and bantering about whatever I'm talking about here. Oh, I got hardly any tungsten here. I don't know what I'm so worked up about then. Let's look in... Oh yeah, our bars are in the gold one now. Quick stack. We've got 19 and 29 bars. I'm gonna guess that's not much. There they are. Crafted 4 more. Well, if the threshold we needed was 30, we have 30. Well, now that I have this sweet sword, maybe I actually am better prepared than I thought I was going to be, because we just went from 8 melee damage to an enchanted sword of 24 that also has a bit of distance damage, which is something I really needed. Now, as far as our equipment goes, we're on 2, 3, and 2. This is 4, 5, and 3. So if I get the chest piece, well, we go from, yeah, the 3 to 5, that's 2, and then we'd go from 2, so that's 2 as well. So all of these are going to give me an improvement of potentially, oh, well, 2, 2, and 1. So we'd want to start with this guy. That's 30 right by itself. And I guess that's what we'd craft, right? I don't see a lot of reason not to make that. Get the improvement. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Here we go. Done. Alright, tungsten chainmail is now a thing that I have equipped on my character. And I guess that means we'll just keep looking for more tungsten over time. We've got gold bars, not enough to do much meaningful, though. And we'll throw our ore back in. I'm gonna have to sort through my inventory as usual, but that's not something you guys have to watch me do. I can do that off camera. And it shouldn't even take that long now that I've got some sorting going on here. I can just kind of do a quick stack here. Look, half my inventory is clean already. Shiverthorn seeds. And I think based on how we're doing right now, we could probably check out the ice zone in a coming episode. I think that's entirely possible. And that was not even far away either. So, like, we could head down in here and then go wander about, grab any emeralds that I left here that I never finished. And probably there's going to be a heart somewhere around, because we're getting at a depth there that I'm pretty sure we'll see some good stuff. So maybe that's what we'll do for next time. We can get into the frozen tundra. We've got a little bit of armor. We've got some good damage. Maybe not the best looking character right now, but we'll work on that in time. And, well, I guess that'll do it for today's episode. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed my bizarre rant about VR technology. And I hope you look forward to more weird rants and silliness and Terraria gameplay in the future for what is to be, hopefully, a very long-running Terraria series. Anyway, I will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Make sure you leave a like, and have a fantastic night. Later.